Hi Free Yoga community, and welcome to Simple Yoga Asana on Boat Pose. This is going to be really nice for activating deep into our core that we use for balance, breath, and pretty much everything else in asana. So I hope that you find some nice balancing core today. Let's find our comfortable seated position. Allow the eyes to softly shut. Let the breath enter and exit the nose. Taking a little time to slow down and to bring our focus into our core, into our center, our diaphragm, that place from which the breath originates. Allowing the inhales and exhales to get a little bit longer. Allow the spine to get a little bit longer, slightly tucking the chin. And any thoughts, worries, stresses that are going on in the body or the mind, just inhale it all in one big breath. Hold the breath at the top. And then open the mouth and just let it all go. Bring our hands down, palms facing up. Let our index finger just barely touch the thumb on either side. The cue here is this idea that we are holding a hair delicately just between the thumb and index finger. And then the other three fingers are going to be pressing out as long as we can. This is one way of teaching Gyan Mudra. Focusing on the fingers reaching while there's just that hair's breadth of space delicately held between the index finger and thumb on either side. And then we'll begin to bounce and dance that diaphragm for a little bit of breath of fire. When you've found your rhythm, close the eyes, turn the gaze in and up. Refocus the attention to the Gyan Mudra, the fingers lengthening, and that hair's breadth right between the index finger and the thumb. Just a few more seconds. Take a huge inhale in. Hold the breath at the top. Engage Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor. You can just engage everything around your pelvis. If you're not exactly sure where it is, feel that pressure slowly moving up the spine and all the way into the head. When you just can't hold it anymore, open the mouth, let it out. Allow the breath to return to normal. And just notice if you feel a little bit different now than you did just a moment ago. Noticing how just a few moments of concentrated breath shifts our nervous system. Now we'll bring the soles of our feet together, knees out to the side in Baddha Konasana. And then we're going to reach our fingertips out in front of us. This will help us to find that really deep, low core that allows us to disengage our hip flexors so that we're able to take an inhale And as we exhale, we're going to round in the low back and slowly head all the way down to the mat, trying to keep the knees out to the side so that way we're looking for that really low core. Take an inhale, and as we exhale, we'll reach the fingertips forward. Try to use that really low core to pull ourselves up. Keep the knees pressing out to the sides. Take an inhale. Exhale, rolling back. Starting to get in touch with that deep, deep, deep core. Take an inhale in when we're on the ground. Exhale, first reach the fingers toward the toes and roll up. Inhale. Exhale, roll back. Inhale. Exhale, roll up. A few more. Moving with your breath. Focusing on that deep low core. The next time we find ourselves on our backs, let's bring our knees up into our chest. And then parallel our shins with the ceiling. And if you can, stack your knees right on top of your hips. This starts to engage the core muscles. Now see if we can take a little bit of that space out from between our low back and the floor, long through the spine. And we'll take an inhale in, keeping the leg exactly as it is, and we'll exhale, place just the left toes down toward the earth, so we're keeping a 90-degree angle with our knee. Inhale, pull that knee back up. Exhale, keeping the right leg as it is, just shifting from the hip, let the toes touch, and then inhale, pull that knee back up. So trying to keep the 90 degrees with the knee as we exhale those left toes down. And then inhale, pull it back up. Notice if there's a big arch in the low back and try and press it back down to the earth. Inhale, exhale the right toes. Now moving with your breath, really focusing on seeing if we can not put so much work in that hip flexor in the front of the hip, but really try and find that low, low, low core that allows us to continue to press our low back down toward the ground and not rely so much on the hip flexors for our core work. And on our next inhale, let's take the heels straight up toward the sky. Flex the toes. Place your hands underneath your hips if you would like. And then we'll exhale, lower one leg. And then inhale, pull it up. And switching legs on each exhale. And bringing our focus to our breath. Noticing our thoughts. Noticing the sounds around us that are close by, those that are far away. Coming back to those inhales and exhales, and this simple movement with the body. Now we'll take an inhale in, both heels up toward the ceiling. Hold the breath at the top, engage Mula Bandha. And exhale, bend the knees, place the heels down close to your sits bones. And then we will inhale, press the heels down, lift the hips up, and keep the hands down towards your heels. And exhale, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Be here for a little while. Inhale, rolling up onto those shoulders. Get the hips nice and high. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And exhale, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Moving with your breath. Letting each inhale and exhale be a moment to let go and to breathe a little deeper. On your next inhale, lift the hips. Hold the breath at the top, engage Mula Bandha. And exhale and release. Left hand on the diaphragm, right hand on the heart. Allow the knees to fall toward each other and take a moment to close the eyes. Allowing a few easy breaths. And then we will come up. Take our hands back behind us. And we will inhale up for reverse tabletop. Exhale, release the hips down. Inhale up. As high as we can get those hips. And exhale down. Inhale up. And this time exhale and stay in it. And we'll inhale that left heel up toward the ceiling. And exhale, place it down. Inhale the right heel up. And exhale, place it down. Inhale, get the hips nice and high. Exhale, drop the head back. And a few breaths. Lifting the hips high. Feeling that opening through the shoulders. And a little deeper breath. One more inhale in. And exhale, place the hips down. And just wrap our knees with our arms and pull the knees towards your chest. Float the toes if you'd like, or just hug the knees. A few breaths to reset. And then we'll take our hands back behind us again. Fingertips pointing toward us is a little more challenging. Pointing away is a little easier. Straightening the legs out this time. The hands just slightly behind our shoulders. And we will inhale, lifting up for reverse plank. And exhale, releasing down. A few times with your own breath. Inhale, lift. And exhale, slowly release. Notice your focus, notice the thoughts as you move with your breath. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And take a deep inhale in, up into that up position. Hold the breath at the top, engage Mula Bandha. And exhale, releasing, flexing the toes, feet hip distance apart, feeling the strength of the legs, the length through the spine, hands out wherever feels most comfortable so that you can grab on peace grip if you would like. Inhale, shine that heart up. Exhale, pull wherever you can, and rounding all the way down, one vertebra at a time. Inhale, head is the first thing to come up. The rest of the spine follows. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Fill that heart. Fill the lungs. And exhale, let the head be the last thing that rounds down. Pull with the arms to get a little longer. Inhale, lengthen, roll through the spine. Exhale, fold. Let the head be the last thing down. Moving with your breath here for a little while. Closing the eyes once you have your rhythm. Wherever you are, see if you can slow it down just a little bit. Really feeling each shift of each bone and organ in the body. Each shift of each vertebra. Of each thought. Of each breath. And we'll inhale, coming all the way up. As we exhale, spin all the way around onto our forearms. Interlace the fingers except for the pinky and ring. Tuck the toes, and then we will inhale up for forearm plank. Take a few deep breaths. Really try and find that curve through the whole spine. See if you can reach your heels away from you, but then pull your elbows back towards your big toes. If this gets to be too much at any point, you can place your knees down, but keep pulling the elbows back toward the knees. And allow a few deep breaths. Place the palms down, place the hips down, and then we'll pull the heart out over the fingertips as much as we can. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen through the crown of the head, a nice sphinx. And then we'll take a deep inhale in. Open the mouth, the tongue, the face, the eyes, and lion's breath out. Deep breath in. And a nice big lion's breath. Deep breath in. And let it all out. And then we'll bring our hands back near our floating ribs, our lowest ribs, and we'll inhale up for plank. Exhale back, downward facing dog. And take a little time in our down dog. A few deep breaths, moving through any tightness or resistance anywhere in the body. Let's bring that left foot forward, place it down near the left hand. Place the right knee down and untuck the toes. You can make a little pillow by rolling up the side of your mat if you would like. Start to take some of the weight out of the hands. Really sinking the hips forward. Now this might be enough. We're trying to open up the front of that right hip and underneath the left hip. If you would like a little more through the front of the right, we'll reach the fingers up. And we'll take that right hand down in between the shoulder blades, grab onto the right elbow with the left hand. We'll twist toward the left so we can sink that right side forward, really opening up through the front of the right hip, hopefully getting into our psoas and perhaps even our iliacus. Deep, deep, deep in that pelvic bowl. Nice deep breaths. And releasing that side. Send that left foot back to meet the right. Bring that right foot forward. Place it down near the right hand. Place the back knee down. Untuck the toes. Taking the weight out of the fingertips. And reaching those fingers up if you would like. Reach that left hand down in between the shoulder blades. Grab onto that left elbow. And then we will sink the hips forward, turning slightly to the right. And releasing that side. And send that right foot back to meet the left. However you would like. Let's make our way down to our backs. I'll just take a moment in a little mini Shavasana here. Not quite there yet, but like a little bit of foreshadowing, letting ourselves sink into the floor. And let's begin our boat pose by just grabbing on to our knees and finding that balancing spot between our sits bones and our tailbone. Now maybe this is the extent of your boat today, which is perfectly fine. Perhaps we'll just spend a little time lengthening through the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders, trying to press up and out. If we would like a little more, grab onto the backs of the knees, still keeping that length through the spine. And let's see if we can parallel our shins to the earth. But notice if this really turns on those hip flexors that we've been working on in our class today. See if you can take the work out of this front muscle in the hip and see if you can find it in that low core. Sometimes it's helpful to engage Mula Bandha to really get in to this low, low, low core. So that way all the work's not just happening in this little tiny muscle that gets so sore so often when we do core work. Maybe straightening out the legs. See how that shifts the pose. Or starting to take some of the weight out of the hands. And reaching toward the toes. And let's go ahead and point through the toes. This activates our legs a little better. Maybe straightening those legs all the way out for a few breaths. If you're feeling really ambitious, maybe reaching those arms all the way up. And deep breaths. And let's move our way back through each variation until we pull our knees into our chest, lengthening through the spine. And let's keep holding on to our right knee. Straighten our left leg out, floating it just an inch above the earth. And roll all the way back down. But keep our shoulders up off the mat as we pull that right knee in. Keeping our shoulders floating, just gently switch the legs, pulling the left knee in and floating the right. Deep breaths. And switching that side, pull the right knee in, lengthen through the left. Same deep breaths. And one more time, pull that left knee in, straighten out the right. And pull both knees in, rock from side to side, release the low back. And then place the heels down, close into the sits bones. We'll press the heels down, lift the hips up for a bridge, or if you'd like, the hands can come under the shoulders and press up for Urdhva Dhanurasana, really releasing through the whole front body. A few deep breaths. And rolling down one vertebra at a time. Once again, pull those knees in, and you can either take some time at Happy Baby, or take the feet up and over if plow is in your practice. Shoulder stand, if you would like, to invert, to allow all of that work to settle. And then rolling down, one vertebra at a time. Extending out to our full length, allowing the body to sink down, tucking the shoulder blades, releasing the tongue from the roof of your mouth if it's connected, allowing the breath to settle, allowing the thoughts to settle, giving yourself a little bit of time in this wonderful, relaxing, restoring Shavasana. You can stay right where you are, sinking down into your mat. Or start to activate the body slowly. Let your breath move through each and every cell. You can find your way back to that same comfortable seated position in which we started our journey together. Or melting down deeper and deeper into your mat. Either way, noticing your breath, noticing your thoughts, noticing your focus. May you remember your connection to your core today, finding balance with the dance of every breath.